Welcome to Malcom Reed's How to Barbecue Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcom and Rochelle Reed.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Barbecue Right podcast. I'm back.
Did you forget how to open?
I forgot how to open it. I forgot what I'm supposed to say, Chelle. Joined by I'm Malcom Reed from How to Barbecue Right. I'm joined by my lovely and talented wife, Miss Southern Chelle. Chelle,
we're back.
How are you? We're back. Y'all told me this is season 7.
Season 7. Isn't that crazy?
Episode 1. Man.
That's 6 years in the book.
If you'd have told me I was going to podcast for 7 years, I would have said, no, you're crazy. There ain't no way. Who'd listen to that long?
I'm still confused by that one.
Yeah. You sure it's been 7 years? This has been year 7.
It has been 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
6 full seasons.
Yeah. Lucky number 7.
Any idea on the episode count?
No, I definitely know we have more than, I think it's 200.
Wow.
But I don't know the exact number, so we'll count for next time.
That's a lot of hours. The reason why I ask is because I saw, everybody's been commenting on the Facebook page of where we've been, something wrong with us or whatever. And if you've been listening for a long time, we talk about it the last episode of the previous season always, that we take a break during the holidays.
And it's not a break. Like Christmas week, yes, but we're still working the week. Well, some of us are. Malcom is hunting.
I'm working. I mean, this hunting gig is turning into a real deal too. So,
but we take a break from filming and
filming barbecue related stuff.
Yeah. I mean, what are you gonna do in January? For a whole week, we were snowed in.
Yeah, we had some good cold weather this year. Enough. Like I don't want to see any more snow. I'm ready for some sunshine, some sand.
Did you have a nice break?
I had a great break. Deer season flew by. Man, we had a blast. We did make some content. We've been making content down at the farm.
Yeah.
Doing, hunting stuff. But got to go on some trips.
You got to go to Mossy Oak.
I got to go to Mossy Oak again, and that was just kind of spur of the moment thing. Vandy, my buddy from down there, called me up and said, man, we got a group coming in. You want to come shoot some recipes with some of the stuff and do some cooking? So I was like, heck yeah. I had a blast. I got to go. I think it was right during the pandemic or right before it. It's been several years ago. Yeah, it's been several years when I got to go the first time. I don't remember if we were masked up or.
It was right after.
It had to be right.
Yeah.
It had to be right in there.
End of 2020 because it was like right when I started.
Yeah.
So that's been several years
that's
ago.
right.
But
how long have you been here, Tyler?
Going on 4 years.
Oh, really? So 3 in the books?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's been 3 years ago.
Yeah.
But so what did you cook while you were there?
I cooked, that morning I did a wild boar sausage breakfast casserole.
What's wild?
Kind of feeding, because you got to think there's a bunch of guys. There's like the guys from Onyx were there, which is like a hunting app, mapping app. So they were there shooting some videos, and they had another chef there from St. Louis. Did he do videos like you did? Yeah, he did some videos too one day. And they had a country music guy, an up and coming country music guy down there, and they had me. And so like I took one day. Like one day was my day to film. So I got up that morning, I did a breakfast casserole, because while I'm doing my videos, people are out hunting. When they come back, they feed them. So usually they cook, they cooking some other stuff in the kitchen too. But
so you're not just cooking just what you need for the recipe. You're cooking for camp too.
Well, kind of. Because, there's other guys cooking stuff too that are with Mossy Oak. They're in the kitchen cooking, and I'm outside doing the videos. But whatever I have, I make enough to where everybody can eat some of it. And they did, man. It was like they wiped that breakfast casserole out.
That's normally how it is at hunting camp.
It is. No matter what you serve, it's getting ate out. Yeah, it's getting ate up. And I did that. I did I did a po' boy, but I did it with some of their gator meat. So it was an alligator po' boy.
How'd you do that?
I took that gator. It was like.
So what kind of what is it? I mean, is it?
It's alligator tail meat.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all tail meat. And they sell it at Gamekeeper Butchery. So if you go to Mossy Oak and go to their Gamekeeper Butchery, you can find all this meat and stuff that I cook there. And it came, I guess it was already thawed out when I got it, but I'm assuming they ship it froze. It's like a couple pound pack. You cut it up and it's pieces of alligator tail. And I cut it up into smaller pieces.
So when you get it, is it like a slab of alligator tail?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it was cut up into pieces, bigger pieces. I would say, about the size of a steak or something like that.
Okay.
Smaller steak, like a filet. Think of a filet, like 8-ounce filet. I'd say it's probably about those size pieces.
Okay.
and then I took them and cut them down into more almost like gator nuggets, like the size of a shrimp or something. Because that's what I was thinking. Po' boy, shrimp po' boy, crawfish po' boy. They kind of fry that stuff up, put it on there. And that's what I did with alligator. I took it and I cut it up into pieces about the size of your thumb, something like that. And then I marinated it in some buttermilk and some hot sauce.
How long did you marinate?
Maybe an hour and a half. So it wasn't too long. Just long enough to let that buttermilk acid work on it a little bit. And then I took it and seasoned up some seafood batter. It was just Louisiana seafood batter, but I seasoned it with a little king crawl. I seasoned the meat with a little AP, put it in that little egg wash in the batter, deep fried it. Man, I'm telling you what, I'm not just a huge fan, or I wasn't just a huge fan of gator, but this was the absolute best that I've ever ate. And the people were eating it as fast as I was frying it before I could even build the sandwich. And I mean, we did a pretty good bit. Like I did enough to make several po' boys, and then Mikey went with me and helped. He was kind of my sous chef. And so he fried up a bunch of it when I got through doing that video because I had to start getting ready for the next one. And we fed them all the gator they brought. I mean, it was a big pan of fried gator. And I made a remoulade sauce, and I did it like a traditional po' boy. Vandy had gotten some po' boy bread. That's that Liedenheimer's po' boy bread.
Oh, he got the actual one.
Yeah. And we cut it, toasted it a little bit. Remoulade sauce, the lettuce, tomato, pickle, piled high with gator, more remoulade sauce, a little hot sauce. And made a sandwich. There'll be videos of this. I know they'll be putting them out on the Mossy Oak stuff.
I'm sure we'll share it.
But we'll put them out on ours too, I'm sure.
Was the gator tender after it had been fried?
So I think the buttermilk and the hot sauce worked on it. Because, when we've cooked the whole gator when Ninja came, and the gator's good, but it's not the best thing. I mean, it's really more about the stuffing and stuff he puts in it that makes it so good. Gator itself is just, I wasn't crazy about the texture. It gets smoking it. Like
lizards
that.
can be a little.
Yeah, lizards can be a little
chewy.
different, a little chewy. But when you fry them, you marinate them and fry them, it was fantastic. It was fantastic. People say it tastes like chicken. It didn't taste like chicken to me. It might have, when you fry it like that, it might have a little bit of a chicken texture, but it's more of a cross between like a fish or something like that. The texture was
Does
to me.
Does it flake a little?
A little bit, yeah.
Do you think iguana is the same way?
Man, I don't know. When we went to that squirrel cook-off, they were cooking. Somebody brought a bunch of, I don't know if they were test iguanas or where they got them, but there was a bunch of iguanas there they were cooking. I didn't try them. At least if I did, I didn't know it. I mean, but I would imagine it's got to be similar, right?
I would think they were kind of,
Yeah, I just think that's probably how all reptiles. Like you ate
least.
turtle. I don't know. I've never ate turtle, but you ever ate turtle meat?
Not that I can remember. There is supposed to be like this delicious
Rattlesnake
turtle
meat?
soup in New Orleans. Who is it?
Which I don't
One of them
Yeah.
has supposed to be like the best turtle soup, and I'd like to try it
Yeah,
just to see. But no, I don't think I've ever had it.
I never had it. I think they had it. Sometimes Tim has it at the parish in town.
Next time I see it there, I'll get it.
You're gonna try the turtle soup?
Yeah.
It's reptile's not my favorite animal to eat. Any of them. I mean, pig is much better. Cow definitely. Chicken blows it away. But you can live off of them if you had to. But that fried gator is pretty dang good.
What else did you cook? Anything else?
Yeah, and then like the last thing I did was elk tomahawk steaks. And if you've never had elk, it is. It's close. It's close because I've had some other good stuff. I've had some axis deer that's right up there with the elk. But elk was always, one of my favorite species of venison, I guess you would say, because whitetail, we eat whitetail all the time. It's a deer that we have here in Mississippi, but it just doesn't compare to the way elk taste.
It's so tender. Every time you've cooked elk, it's been like super tender. Is it all like that?
I mean, the elk I've had is.
Yeah.
And most of the time when I'm cooking, I've gotten lucky in cooking the backstrap or the loin of it.
That's true.
I've had some ground elk, and the ground elk's good too. But once it's ground, I can't tell much difference, and it could be any kind of venison at that point. But backstrap to backstrap, elk is way better than whitetail. And whitetail's good. I love it. But elk just blows it away because of texture-wise, it's closer to like beef tenderloin. You get that soft texture on it, and the meat has a really good flavor if you don't overcook it. And so that's what I did. I pretty much skewered them in a iron skillet, threw some butter in there, seared, got them seasoned up, and I just
how thick were they?
They're not super thick. They're, maybe 3/4 of an inch to an inch.
Is it kind of like a lamb chop size?
Yeah. It's about like a lamb chop, like a lamb chop with the long, longer bone.
Yeah.
And that's basically what they look like. And so usually when we served them, you get 2 or 3 elk chops on a plate with some taters and some asparagus. That's what I did. Like herb roasted taters.
What do you call that? The World Food Championship Special?
Yes, the World Food Special. That's what it is. I had it last night at the golf course.
It's steak, potatoes,
and green or something, and asparagus. Yeah, with some kind of sauce, a little demi-glace. But the elk was fantastic, and doing it. I mean, you do it in iron skillet, it gets a nice sear on it. Then throw in some butter and some rosemary, a little thyme, garlic. Just splash it when you flip it and keep butter basting it until it gets to like 120, 122, and then take them off and eat them rare, and they just. Oh, it just melts in your mouth. It's so good.
Did everybody get to have an elk chop?
No, I don't think everybody did, but a lot of people did. There wasn't any left.
Well, yeah.
We did cook a bunch of, we cooked, they had a bunch of other, different cuts that we just cooked for people to eat too. So there was one.
Did you cook them the same way?
Yeah. We had some big, wild boar chops. And I was kind of, I'm not.
You're weird.
Wild boar, yeah, is not one of my favorite things to eat, but it was really good.
I think Butcher Barbecue, David
scared me on the wild boar, yeah, because he said he won't touch them. If he processes wild game and he don't want to touch them, that makes me a little wary too. He's like, man, do I want to mess with this stuff? If somebody that's a pro, talks about it. But, I mean, they do have a hog problem, so it's great that people are eating them. It's just, I don't know about the diseases they carry. It kind of scares me. But you can get some kind of heartworm that you can't get rid of. And it's not from eating the meat. It's from handling it. Like if you got an open wound or something and you get some of the blood and that wild boar or wild hog happens to have that parasite in it and it gets in your skin, it can get in your heart. And there's no cure for it.
But if you were to take it and cook it, if you processed it.
The cooking, it's fine. Eating, it's fine. I've been told. I don't know if they've done studies on this or what. Yeah. They probably should come with like an oyster warning. Well, you eat this at your own risk because we don't know what it's going to do to you. Would you eat it knowing that? You're a little adventurous.
It depends on who's cooking it.
The best thing I had there, and I need to ask Fandy. He told me, and I can't remember the name of the company, but it's in Alabama. It's a distribution company, but they get a lot of fresh seafood and different meats and things like that. And he bought a piece of yellowfin tuna loin, and he made tuna ceviche with it. But
now you're talking about.
They just flew it in that day and then brought it out there. And he said, "Have you ever ate tuna?" And I was like, "I've never ate it. I've had it at a sushi restaurant. Mm-hmm. I don't know when they get it or where they get it, but I eat it." But he got it and sliced it and had a little wasabi, a little soy sauce in the bowl, and you just, as soon as you cut that tuna off, you just dipped it in there, and man, it was so good.
It's pandemonium.
It really was. I was like, man.
I'm kind of surprised you ate it.
I've been like raw fish. No, I don't eat raw. I just like cooked sushi and stuff, but I've come around to it, and I've come around to that flavor of that fish right out of the water. Oh, man. It's just nothing compares to it. It's not fishy at all. There's no fishiness to it.
It's so flavorful.
What would you call that? Sashimi, I guess? Tuna, if you're eating it that way?
Yes, I think so.
But he did a ceviche with it, which was like, it was chopped up pretty fine, and then it was mixed with like onion and I guess
cilantro.
Yeah, avocado, stuff like that. Dressed it, had some soy sauce in it, and it was really, really good. And then he made a West Indies salad one night, which I'd never had.
So y'all just ate off this piece of tuna?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't tuna. It was crab, like lump crab.
Ooh.
And it's really simple. It's like lump crab, white onion, a little bit of seasoning, and like vinegar and water. That's all it is. So it's almost like a pickled crab, but it's a salad, and you let it sit in that marinade a little bit, and then you eat it like on crackers. And that was really good too. I got to look that one up. Yeah. That would be a good little recipe to do for something, because you could top that or do other stuff with it, or it's a good little appetizer.
I can see that being good on an oyster.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely would, because it'd be like crab in that minuet sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Lost my water.
I almost forgot to introduce your co-host.
Oh, we do. We have a new co-host for the show, thanks to my man Eric. Dropped him off. He gave him a ride. I wonder if he got some looks going down the interstate with that. we turn over here, introducing my man, Strait George.
At Christmas time, somebody dropped off a life-size cutout
of George Strait. You know, that had always been kind of a running joke. I would say when we were doing stuff at the shop, and George Strait's going to be here, and we just kind of ran with it, and he showed up. He sure did.
Took 4 seasons, but he's
Where do you think this came from? I don't see like it hyping Wrangler or anything like that. One of his big brands.
I think his wife.
It works in like some kind of promotion where they did it.
Yeah.
It's hey, who else do you know has got a George Strait life-size cutout? He's co-hosting the show. He's pretty quiet, but he's got some good songs out there. If y'all ever want to check out some of his tunes, I guess it's on iTunes. So.
You also hosted the first private event at the Smokehouse.
We did. It was our winner of our Palmer Home contest, our buddy Luke, and he came down. Brought some of his brother. He brought his brothers with him.
So it was 4 total guys?
Yeah.
And y'all had enough room down there?
Oh yeah. It was perfect. It was excellent, man. We had a blast. It went by fast. They came in on a Friday. We cooked a big dinner Friday. Man, we did some beef tenderloins, just on the Mammoth on the new
oh yeah, I'm gonna ask you about that grill too.
Yeah, man, they were melt in your mouth. They were awesome. I did a big old thing of sauteed mushrooms with them. We cooked some potatoes to go with the World Food Special, kind of.
What was your green?
We didn't have a green with that one. We didn't have a green, but I made a big charcuterie board.
Just brown on brown.
Yeah, we had a big charcuterie board, and then we had meat, taters, and mushrooms, and bread and butter.
Yeah.
And then.
So tell me how you did this beef tenderloin.
Oh, it's super easy. We just seasoned it, stuck it on that
you took
pit,
the whole beef tenderloin, right?
Trimmed it up. Get all the silver skin off, take the chain off, dock it on the end so it's about an even-sized piece of meat. We shot it up full of beef broth to give
just beef broth.
Beef broth and a little bit of Swine Life prime beef, and then we seasoned outside with a little prime beef and a little hot rub. Just a little texture, a little steak rub for some texture. Threw it on the pit, put a probe in it, 125. Take it off and let it rest. No, now keeping it low too. We cooked it like 225 the whole time.
How long did it take?
Probably 2 hours, maybe.
Dang,
2.5 hours. Not long. I mean, not real long.
I mean, it's longer than it normally takes.
Yeah, normally I've been cooking an hour and a half because I'll crank the temp up. But there was this whole thing where you can reverse sear it, like you season it, you got to take it off and you got to sear it. Well, on a pellet grill, and I don't know if this is the same case because it doesn't really do it on the drum or doesn't really do it on an old hickory or something like that. You got to have a grill that's moving some air.
Convection.
Yeah, because that pellet grill is moving a lot of air, and so it does give it a decent bark and sear on the outside without having to go back and get it on the high heat. Because that's typically people would take them and put them on a grill and roll them and sear them off. And I've done it like that; it's fine. But this way is so much easier. And from edge to edge, tip to tip, whatever you want to call it, the doneness is the same across that whole beef loin.
How long did y'all let it rest? Once it came off?
It probably rested 2 hours. I think that's really what makes it. It rested as long as it cooked because we put it on because we knew we wanted to rest it because we had done some. I think I'd done one for our family back during Christmas, and Mark had done some for his holidays, and so he was like, "Man, those turned out so good for both of us. And mine just came from Walmart." But
it's easier than trying to cook everybody a ribeye.
Yeah.
Or a filet.
But it goes a long way too because when you slice them, you don't slice like an 8 ounce or a 10 ounce piece. You kind of do it in medallions. You can get as many of them as you want. But we wiped that dude out. I mean, we did some eating. It was good. It was really good.
Did you make sure you get your baked potatoes to 202?
Yeah, heck yeah. I did this. That's the Chelle method. You got to temp your taters. And then cut the oven off and just let them hang out in there, and they are just perfect.
Yeah, they're just fall apart. So that was Friday night. And so Mark Williams was there from Swine Life.
Mark and Jamie came. But Jamie went rabbit hunting, so he didn't spend the night.
And Craig
from Outlaw came down, and he helped out a ton. Like Jay helped us out in the kitchen, helped us cook and everything. So the next day, the main thing was we want to show them how to cook on Outlaw. That's why Jay came. He builds the pits.
Yeah, because Luke won an Outlaw and a lesson.
Yeah, that's right. How to cook. So pretty much we went through chicken, ribs, pork butt or money mussels, and brisket, a Wagyu brisket. So we cooked a Wagyu brisket. We We cooked these beautiful, I don't remember, the Prairie Fresh Primes. I think the butts were, and then Mark trimmed the money muscles out like you would for a contest. And we did the Prairie Fresh ribs, St. Louis cut ribs, and then he'd been doing chicken wings, and so it showed him how to do competition-style wings, which were just flats.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask. Are they holes, flats?
I fried up the drums. Like Mark trimmed them off. He said, "What are we going to do with these? You want me to cook them?" I said,
so he's turning in just flat?
Yeah, just flats.
Nothing else?
Flats
no,
is where it's at.
no thighs, no nothing?
No thighs, no nothing. Just flats. You can't mess them up.
I mean, personally, that's my favorite
Well, if you
part
think
of the chicken wing. But
if you think about it, when that judge gets that bite, I mean, the flat skin's usually going to do just right. You can cook them super tender. It's really just 2 bites anyway.
Yeah.
So there's not too much to judge you on. And what's to judge you down? Because it's still really good, tender, juicy, delicious chicken. So it makes sense to me.
How many does he put in the box?
As many as you can get, but it's usually about 8, I think.
Okay.
Like 2 rows of 4 maybe.
So he's using some pretty big.
Yeah. You buy the whole wings and you cut them down yourself. So it makes a pretty good sized wing. They look good. They look great in a box. Now, we didn't build boxes. We built a board. There's a picture of it floating around somewhere. Yeah,
there's a great video that we need to share.
Yeah, because we shredded up some of the money mussels, shredded up some of the brisket, but we made burn-ins 2 ways, like sauce like you would for a competition. They're kind of sweet and got that, and then we had just regular when that point got tender and you went to cube it and don't do nothing else to it, just season it a little bit.
Those are the ones that I want.
Man, I couldn't quit eating them. It makes you so sick eating that stuff. It is so good. I mean, the brisket flats is awesome, don't get me wrong, but it don't have nothing on a really good point.
You also said that those are some of the best ribs.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, to me, the ribs were the best. Like that was because I was like, right, I'm going to be non-biased.
Mark's got his
he's got it dialed in.
Rib recipe dialed in.
And there's something about that pit at the Smokehouse. Like I don't care what we've cooked on it. It has turned out. I don't know if it's just where it's sitting, if it's drawing air right, if it's got some kind of blessing on it. I don't know what it is. If it's the glass door. Something makes that pit cook good, and it's easy to run. It just wants to sit there and do its thing.
It's happy where it's at.
It's happy where it's at. I would be too if that's where I had to stay.
It's all covered up, nice.
Yeah, not in the weather. But yeah, it turned out fantastic. But ribs were my number one. Like I was being non-biased. I'm gonna just what I think.
Yeah,
ribs blow me away.
Couldn't find anything wrong with them. Brisket
point was next. Brisket flat was after that. Chicken wings was after that, and the weak link was money muscle, and it was fire. But you had to put something in last place, and you have to put money muscle, you've had some good food.
And probably pork is probably the thing we eat the most. The pulled pork, but
that's just the way it shook out for me. But I fried up. So I fried up those drums, and we had those to snack on because we didn't really. We cooked a giant breakfast that morning: biscuits, gravy, the whole 9 yards. Oh, we did some eating. Yeah, we're going.
I love having people.
Might not be the best accommodations. It might not be the best lessons, but I guarantee you're going to eat and eat and eat. Hurt yourself.
I love entertaining people that when you put out a big spread, they eat.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. They want to enjoy a good glass of whiskey. They want to.
Oh, we did that too.
I love entertaining people that enjoy the finer things in life.
We didn't do Bloody Marys. That was the one thing nobody did.
I guess. Had got stuff for y'all to do.
I know we had the stuff to do it, and we just didn't. Nobody really wanted one.
Yeah.
But we had the big breakfast, and then at lunch I cooked.
What's big breakfast?
Sausage, bacon, gravy, biscuits, eggs, belted cheese. That's the Williams special. Belted cheese for breakfast to put on your biscuit. So he took and I fried true pork tenderloins. I battered and fried them. We cut them up, tenderized them just a little bit.
How'd you tenderize them?
This was a meat mallet.
Okay.
Just put them out on a board, a little plastic wrap over them, hit them a little bit. It's tenderloin. You don't have to do too much to it, but it flattens it out, gives you a little bit better piece.
So it's the actual tenderloin.
Yeah, the little ones, the 2-pack. Yeah. I had some in the freezer, and I was like, man, but these guys have never had tenderloin for breakfast. So tenderloin with gravy is one of the finer things in life.
Had they ever had tenderloin?
No, they had never had it like that.
Yeah.
But I had fired up in the deep fryer outside, and I went outside, kind of battered them up, egg wash flour, dropped them in there. So we had a platter of that, deep fried tenderloin. Then we had bacon. Then we had sausage. Then we had gravy. Then we had eggs. Then we had melted cheese. And we had biscuits. So you would take your biscuit and bust it open. And then you put you a piece of tenderloin on there. And then you ladle that gravy over the top. And then you'd put you some melted cheese on it. And then a little egg too. And then put that top biscuit on. And you had, oh man, it was so good.
You didn't even get to the rest of it. And then you had the
bacon
and sausage and eggs on the side.
Yeah. It was good. It was really good.
So then y'all went to cooking barbecue.
Then we went to cooking barbecue.
Yeah.
And then, so we also had some sausages. We did like a sausage and cheese board for lunch. And I fried those wing drums. And then I fried a bunch of pork skins because we did pimento cheese with the smoked sausage, with the pickle on the pork skin. So
it's hard to beat them fresh.
Oh, they're still popping. Yeah. They never had those fresh like that either. So that was something cool.
Did they like those?
Yeah.
Those are addictive when you start popping them. They're
low carb too.
Sounds like y'all were very concerned about that weekend.
Carbs that weekend. But no, we had a blast. That was a good time. That was a really good time.
And then for dinner, it was all barbecue?
Yeah. And Mark made, so you had bought mini cheesecakes for Friday night's dessert. Mm-hmm. And then
just from the local
Mark made those little individual creme brulees that he makes in the sous vide. Man, those things are so good.
That is such a good idea.
Yeah, it's a perfect little dessert.
Yeah.
It's a perfect size.
So it's basically, he makes a custard.
Yeah.
And pours it into a mini jar.
Mini mason jar. Like a little jelly jar.
Yeah. And then he just puts them in a fridge until he's ready to cook them. And then he drops them in a sous vide, right?
Yeah. He says they're better if they sit overnight. So he sous vide them on Friday and then let them sit overnight in the fridge after they're done.
So you could go ahead and sous vide them and then keep them in the
fridge. Yeah. I don't know how many days they'd last, but they did fine. I mean, I bet you they'd last 2 or 3 easy.
Yeah.
But after they come out of the fridge, because, you eat creme brulee kind of cold anyway.
Yeah.
But then you torch the sugar on top. So he takes the lid off, sprinkles brown sugar or turbinado sugar on it, gets out the little brûlée torch and fires it up, and it makes this little caramel crust right on top of it, little melted sugar. And to go with all that barbecue, you ain't going to find anything finer.
I know, because I love creme brulee. It's like one of my favorites. Yeah. And you think of it as being like some fancy schmancy dessert, you only get it fine dining.
Yeah, right.
But
it's really not that.
That's genius how Mark does it. The sous vide is.
I put them all on. I had them all on the Blue Plate mayonnaise. Had to eat mayonnaise.
We do have a Blue Plate. It's like a giant blow up mayonnaise. It's technically a pull float.
They call them fluffy.
Fluffy?
Yeah, okay. That's like the nickname.
It is kind of fluffy mayonnaise. I get that.
Anyway, we got to blow one up and get one in here.
How big is it? Have I seen it blowed up? I don't think I have I?
I mean, if you were in a pinch, you could probably sleep on it one night.
Is it flat or is it round like a mayonnaise jar?
No, it's like a pull float, like a big flat pull float.
Okay.
That's the size of a giant mayonnaise jar. Imagine this.
Flat like a float. What if we took that to the beach with us? They would know where you stand. It's the guy that enjoys a good sandwich.
You get in the resort pool with a giant Blue Plate float. Just knocking people out of the way.
I bet you they don't have Blue Plate in the Caribbean.
That's their loss.
I know I'd be trying to party with that guy.
The mayonnaise man?
Float. Me too. I'd be eyeballing that one.
So how much mayonnaise did you use during the holiday, Chelle? We're down to the last jar at the Smokehouse.
I mean, you're constantly got to rebuy.
Yeah.
If I don't have 2 jars in the pantry, I get a little nervous. Yeah.
But then you want to squeeze one too. What's the squeeze one for? For crackers and miscellaneous mayonnaise and
for your sandwiches and your your quick grabs. The jars are for recipes. And
does Blue Plate have pouches? That'd be one thing
you could use. I don't think so. I've never seen them.
Be like purse mayonnaise. Just keep it in here. Like Chick-fil-A packs.
Chick-fil-A doesn't.
They don't do good keeping in the car. They turn to oil. Yeah.
Get gross. But if you are choosing mayonnaise this weekend, make sure to choose Blue Plate. It's the best mayonnaise on the planet.
Since 1927. Real mayonnaise made with real egg yolk.
And real love.
And real love. It's a New Orleans tradition.
# that's the good
stuff. So this week we released a chili video.
Well, we got back to filming.
Yeah.
Let's talk about why we take a break. It's just a good time, right?
Why do we take a break? Because you say, I've had enough?
Yeah, because so I don't go postal on somebody. Usually it's not so much me. I'm not going to point any fingers here.
Tyler, I think
I know better.
Yeah, I think
I'm not talking about Tyler. He probably needs a break too, though, and Jacob. But yeah, no, we always take that break, y'all, and but it's time to get back to it, and so we came back hard this week, and we're trying. I don't know how many pieces of content we created. It felt like 20, but it was a bunch this week.
It was 17 this week, including Buck Junkies.
Yeah. Oh, so total pieces of content plus this podcast. Does that count?
Yeah.
Okay. But that was a busy week. We filmed all week. We did some cool stuff. I mean, well, see, here's what the deal is. We got Super Bowl coming up. You know that's a major holiday in my book. Then we've got Mardi Gras.
Another my major holiday.
That's another for Blue Plate for the South. So we had two things we had to squeeze in there.
And Valentine's Day.
Are we doing?
That's like all within like 3 or 4 days of each other.
Yeah, they are. They're super close this year. So we had to get some stuff out. So the first thing I did, big old pot of all beef, no beans, chili.
So we love some chili. We cook chili at the house all the time. And we cook it a bunch of different ways.
Heck yeah.
But for this recipe, you did something that you don't normally do, and that's grind your own meat.
I did. Well, I was looking for chili grind, but I couldn't find, man.
What's chili grind?
It's just so when they grind meat, usually they pass it through the grinder one time on the die plate with the big hole. It's a little bit bigger diameter. Then they take it and they re-grind it again through a smaller hole. And it changes the texture of it, kind of spreads the fat content out, anything, but it's finer.
Yeah.
So it's a finer
that
grind.
becomes your burger grind or whatever.
Yeah. So this is basically first grind. First grind meat is what I call chili meat. And I mean, some people, just chop up the meat for chili.
Yeah.
They would have just chopped up chuck roast, or sirloin and mixed with it.
And you've done that.
And I've done it. It's fine like that. It's kind of, that's more like almost chili stew.
I know. I feel like it's more vegetable soupy.
Yeah, because you got those chunks of it. I want the chili to be kind of not smooth like a bisque or something like that, but it should have some texture. But you should be able to tell the meat, but it should be consistent across it. And I feel like using that chili grind does that. And so I was like, you know what? You got me a meat grinder attachment for your KitchenAid years ago for Christmas. And I think I argued with it for a while that I didn't get that for Christmas, but you said it's in the pantry. And so I remembered it being in there. So I said, we're going to take that to the Smokehouse, and I'm just going to show people how easy it is to grind your own meat. And that, I mean, you don't have to do it just for chili. Like if you want to know what's going into your ground meat, buy a chuck roast. You can make it as lean, as fatty as you want. You can add more fat to it. You can really control it, and that way the meat going into ground. So when you buy a tube of ground beef at the grocery store, you don't know what's in it.
Oh, you're getting all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I had gone to Sam's the day before you were filming, and they had some of the prettiest chuck roasts. Mm-hmm. I mean, they almost look like ribeyes. So we ended up using one of those, and I bought some sirloin that turned out to be not the sirloin you wanted.
Yeah, because you bought
what did
tip.
I buy? Okay.
Sirloin tip, which is, I mean, it's part of the sirloin, but it's not the tender lean part that I wanted.
Okay.
And so I wanted a true sirloin steak.
So what would we do with the sirloin tip? Because I packaged it and it's frozen.
I'll just cook it. You know what? It'll make some good tacos.
Ooh, like throw it in the crock pot.
Yeah,
and
cook it down. Yeah. Say it, Tyler. What's that style I like? I can't pronounce. Burrilla.
Oh, burrilla.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like, what?
That's
it's like, I
pitched you one. I pitched you one. I figured you know what I was talking about. But anyway, it would make some great tacos. And I'll make some more chili with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it would work. I was just wanting that contrast. Like if I was showing a video of how I'm using chuck roast and sirloin equal parts to get a good fat ratio that's not super fatty, didn't produce a ton of grease, but it had some fat in the chuck. And chuck roast, it's got some pretty good fat.
So you did not drain your
I didn't drain it at all.
Chili.
I didn't think it needed it. I mean, it had some moisture in there and it had some fat, but you need some of that to get some flavor. And that got me thinking, I had said something on a podcast last season about seeing these over-the-top chilies and people letting the grease go in there. And I get it. If you're using a meat that's not too fatty, you want some of that in there, so that's got to be good. But if it's something like, you've got a lot of fat raining down in it, I wouldn't want all that in my chili.
Well, when I make chili, my recipe that I use all the time is sausage and ground beef.
Yeah, which
Just
has a fattier content.
It
though.
does, and I almost always have to drain
Yeah.
it.
If you put ground pork in it, especially supermarket sausage, it's going to be fatty.
Yeah.
You're going to have a lot of grease, and if you cooked all that in there, it gives you a weird mouthfeel when it cools off some. That fat, just kind of gets greasy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best way to describe it. It's a greasy mouthfeel. I don't want that.
So you think it's a judgment call when you come to?
I just think you need to. You want some fat, but you don't need a ton.
Yeah.
And then, but I like throwing my vegetables in there with the meat, not draining it, letting it all cook in that juice, because you're not trying to caramelize your vegetables for chili. You're just wanting to soften them. And so the onions go in 2 or 3 minutes. Put your diced chilies, your garlic in there. Or if you want to use fresh peppers, throw those in there with the onions raw. I mean,
any chance I can cook my veg in some sort of meat fat?
Yeah,
I'm
doing it. Yeah, exactly. But the one thing I did with that chili meat in the grinder now was I cubed up the meats into similar size cubes, kind of hand mixed them, and then seasoned it with some chili seasoning, the Bonafide chili seasoning right there. So when it runs through that grinder, that seasoning's getting ground into the meat. So it automatically has a pretty good chili flavor.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you still got to use more chili seasoning to make your chili, but it already gets that flavor going in the meat so that everybody's going to have that flavor.
Do you think grinding your meat gives you a beefier flavor?
I don't know if it gives you a beefier flavor. I just think you get a better consistency of what that ground meat's like because you started with these bigger cuts and you cut it down and ground it yourself as opposed to just buying something off the shelf.
Yeah. Why no beans?
Well, because I knew it's controversial. Every time I put beans in chili, 2 reasons. Every time I put beans in chili, somebody's going to say, beans don't go in chili. So there's a lot of bean haters out there. There's a lot of no bean eaters for chili. I myself, I don't know. I mean, the only time I've ever had chili with no beans is like when it's on a dog, like chili.
Yeah.
And it's,
like a Sonic.
there's nothing wrong with it. Nothing. Yeah. That's a great example. Like Sonic chili.
Oh, canned chili.
Or canned chili or, ballpark chili. Most of the time I don't have beans in it. I'm cool with it. I don't have to have beans in it. And so I was like, well, let's just make it all beef, no beans chili. It's simple. It really is simple. There wasn't a ton of ingredients to it. And it's just about letting it cook down, letting some of that moisture simmer down, reduce down, and it concentrates those flavors. And you don't get any easier than making a big old pot of chili like that. Now you're one of the people that always said you don't like beans and chili. And I remember you've told me before that your mom would take you out some and then put the beans in it. But
I would ask for that.
Oh, she would never do it? Would you try to go over there and do it?
Yeah, I'd try to I'd always put the beans on the side.
Yeah.
Pick through it, my little bowl, and have them on the side.
But I mean,
I never liked that texture. Chili, to me, chili's good and it's got this great texture. And then you bite into this old mushy old bean.
Yeah. See, I love beans though.
Yeah. I add them to the chili now and they're pretty good.
But the next chili video I do, I'm going to do all beans, no meat. How about that? Vegetarian chili.
I do.
How do you think that would be?
I think it'd be gross.
Got a killer recipe for quinoa chili.
Yeah.
Have you made it? Has Ashley made that for you?
Oh, yeah.
Quinoa
I thought
chili.
you were joking.
No, it's a regular recipe in my house.
What is quinoa? Grain?
I guess. It's actually not bad. The flavor's pretty good. It tastes like chili.
It's just got that weird
how would you make
texture.
A no meat chili?
I don't know. You could do.
Would it just be a pot of beans, chili style? So it'd be like ranch beans? So I guess you could use mushrooms. I never had mushroom in chili though, but
tofu?
That wouldn't work.
There's Impossible meat.
No, absolutely not. That stuff's horrendous. I would not use that. I don't know. There's got to be a way to do it. All beans, no meat chili.
I will say one thing that I have learned is if you wait to the last minute, like 20, 30 minutes before you serve your chili to add your beans and just let them sit in there long enough to warm up to the same consistency of the chili, they have such better texture. I like them so much better. I think if you put them in way too early, they get mushy and they don't have that.
Yeah, I can see that. One thing's beans will do your chili. Like if you don't have it reduced good and you add your beans, it's going to thicken it. And you can mash some of them and thicken it. So I've done that before, just when you needed it. But
I do like how you add Worcestershire. I like how you add the beef concentrate.
That's how I get my beefy flavor because I do. Man, I'm a firm believer in using these little concentrates you can buy at the grocery store now. They're basically like liquid forms of bouillon or beef, concentrated flavor. And they're fantastic for any kind of chili, stew, soup, any kind of sauce that you're making or something like that to get some more essence of beef. They've got roasted garlic. They've got all these different ones. They've got. I think they even. I know they have chicken. They may even have a pork flavored one. I don't know.
I haven't seen a pork flavored one. They have a burger one with a garlic flavor, and it's basically just beef with some garlic flavor. It's really good.
But I like those things, man. I use them all the time.
I use the ones for like anytime I'm doing chicken stock or using chicken stock or something. I always put a little squeeze of the chicken bouillon, or I guess it's not bouillon.
It's base. I guess that's how you call it. Yeah.
It just amps up that.
It does
robust flavor.
It gives it depth. It gives it depth and richness. And even if I'm making a pan sauce, we're cooking regular dinner at night, and I know I'm going to use like deglaze the pan and make a little sauce to go with say pork chops or something. I'll add a little bit of that chicken base in there and just give it another little richness.
I'll squirt it in vegetables too.
Yeah. I never use it that much in vegetables, but I could see it. Like if you're making a pot of butter beans or something like that, you'll add some chicken
just
base.
One little squirt of chicken.
Yeah.
Like you said, it just adds that extra depth.
And they do have a vegetable base too. I've seen that.
Yeah.
But
is it in the refrigerator aisle? Or
no, it's where the
it's in the soup section.
Okay.
Like when you would find chicken stock.
Yeah.
It's typically on the higher
very top.
On the very top of that. And it's like a little squeezy bottles. They have a couple different brands, but Kitchen Accomplice is the one that we use the most.
Yeah. So that's what Kroger has.
Yeah.
Knorr makes a lot of them in the little cups.
Yeah.
But there's wherever your soup bases and things like that are is usually where it's at in the grocery store.
Awesome.
And I don't think they go bad. Like
or wherever the bouillons are, it's going to be with all the cube bouillon and all that stuff. I don't know. I mean,
do they go bad? I don't know.
I usually use them for the.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the better than bouillon stuff too, but it's like a paste. It's not squeezy.
Yeah.
You got to
squeezy
take it
out so quick.
Yeah. It's like instant flavor.
You also made chili crackers to go with.
Yeah.
And this was kind of an idea we just had like this weekend, maybe.
So everybody eats crackers with chili, right? That's pretty much standard.
I'd say so.
I mean, I know some people eat cornbread, and I don't know. That's probably the two things that I would think people eat. I don't know if anybody eats biscuits with chili. But crackers has been what I've ate all my life. In Arkansas, we had cinnamon rolls, but they just went along with chili. But crackers, and they're usually just plain saltines. But we took them to another level. Why serve a plain cracker when you can get flavor in that cracker?
Well, you had been making we have these little cracker seasoning. They're called party crackers or
something like
it's
that.
Like
we're selling them in the store. It's like seasoning packs for crackers.
Yeah. So you just put a little oil with the seasoning pack, pour it over a box of saltines, toss it. I think everybody's seen these spicy crackers.
Mm-hmm.
You toss it around for an hour in a bag or a container, and then you serve them. And they're just spiced up crackers.
Yeah.
And you got the idea to use your chili seasoning
instead of one of them packets.
Yeah, and just make chili crackers.
And it works.
It was so really good.
It's like half a cup of canola oil and then a couple tablespoons.
I think it was
chili,
3.
Yeah, of the chili seasonings.
Tablespoons of the chili seasoning.
And then you just open up a pack of crackers, throw them all in a big Tupperware bowl or meat bag if you got one. Any kind of big. You need plenty of room to kind of be able to flip them around and let all that chili oil get all over them. But after an hour, they're ready to go. Then you just take them up and serve them. They'd be good with oyster crackers. I've had oyster crackers that way because a lot of people do eat oyster crackers with chili. Where do you stand? Regular saltine, seasoned saltine, or oyster cracker?
I'd go seasoned saltine.
I think it's better.
Yeah. I
like the guacamole ones too. They do have a guacamole season.
They're spicy guacamole.
Yeah.
They'll light you up too. So we also got a quick little video of you taking one of your chili crackers, putting a little smear of Blue Plate on it, and then putting a little chili on it and trying it.
It was really good.
I mean, is that your honest opinion?
It's really good. It's Blue Plate. It's really good. This is something you do. I've seen you do it, and because normally when I eat chili, if I'm going to add something creamy, it's going to be sour cream. some people that I know will do mayonnaise, Blue Plate mayonnaise in particularly, instead of sour cream.
It's
And
not-
I've always thought it was weird.
It's not instead of sour cream.
Oh, you do sour cream and Blue Plate?
No, I just don't use as much mayonnaise as you use
Oh,
sour cream.
so
It's just a little smear.
you smear it on a cracker, and then you put the chili on it, and then you bite it, and
And how good is it?
it's good. It's real good. It's real good. I can say that honestly. It's good.
How honestly, you can't tell me it did not give it a little zip, little creaminess.
Yes, but it don't go with chili. Like if I'm eating a chili dog, I'm not putting. Are you putting mayonnaise on a chili dog?
I mean, I have before.
I could see mustard on that cracker being really good. Like
Ugh.
mustard and then chili, because I put mustard on a chili dog. Little white onion over the top. That would be okay, but no. I am not. You're probably not going to catch me ever doing that again. Put it that way. It's good. It's good. Will I do it again? Probably won't catch me doing that again.
I also did a chili video on my TikTok.
Oh yeah, but you just did the simple Bonafide.
Yeah, it's the
Chili.
basic, simple,
Yeah.
Bonafide chili recipe. So if you just looking for a different, quick
Which one's
chili
your
recipe.
favorite of all the chilies? Do you have a favorite?
I mean, no, they're all good. I like the white chicken chili.
Oh,
I like the kind of the beefy chili you did this week. It was really good. It was really good on a chili dog.
yeah.
And
I think that's where it shines, really.
yeah, and I mean, the one we do at home all the time. That's the one I did the recipe of.
That's pretty much.
It's a
That's
good
my
standard.
favorite. That's my
basic.
favorite one.
Is that your favorite?
It's pork and beef. It's beans. It's got it all in there. And then serve it up, and you got all your toppings you can put on it however you like them, and then serve it with crackers. That's the best. My second one would be the white chicken chili, but I almost don't consider that chili. Yeah,
I agree.
it has meat in it.
It has chili
it has
flavorings.
beans in it. It has. I guess that's the only common ingredient. I mean, the common ingredient to me, and it's onion and cumin. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it has.
Other than
flavor,
that, it's.
but
I mean, does it have milk in it, or it's got cream cheese?
yeah, it's
I
got.
mean, it's got all the good stuff, but it's just it's not. It's more like chili flavored cheesy chicken soup
Yes,
with white beans,
I agree.
and it's delicious. Don't get me wrong, but we call it white chicken chili.
It still will win a chili contest.
Yeah. Oh, it will, hands down, because you got all these bowls of red, and then you got this one that's like all this delicious cheese melted into this soupy concoction with chicken. It's different, you know.
Last weekend I cooked my first brisket.
You
kinda
did.
by myself.
I was super impressed, Chelle.
Were you really?
I was. You paid attention all these years. You didn't do much to it.
No. Well, that's the key to brisket, right?
Yeah, it is. I found that out over all the years cooking. The least you do to stuff, usually the better it turns out.
I was at Sam's. They had a brisket on sale. I picked it up on one side, and it felt like just butter in the package.
But this was just a flat.
It
Did
was
you
just
know
a
it was
flat.
just a flat?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I knew it was.
But it's
just
like
flat.
a 10.5-pound flat.
But I was
It's
thinking,
huge.
I didn't want to cook. I would have been a little too intimidated to cook the whole one. I think the reason it was a flat made it even more attractive to me to cook. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna cook this brisket. So I bought it, seasoned it up. We cooked it on the Mammoth overnight.
Yeah, you went out and turned it on. What'd you put? Do you remember what you put it on? Like
225.
225.
You had to help me set up the Mammoth. So
I mean,
that's a
I
brand
showed
new
you
grill.
how to turn it on. Yeah.
Hey,
It's a
what
brand
do
new vertical grill from Grilla.
What do you think about it?
Oh, it's awesome. Let people cook on it. I'm not going to say it's a game changer for pellet grills, but it's unlike any others out there because you get the vertical cooking aspect on it. And you can put a water pan in it. And you can put wood on top of the burner, the little pellet burner. It's got a little tray for wood. You
I
can
didn't know
burn
that.
chunks or chips to get even more smoke flavor. But, man, this thing generates so much smoke flavor.
I was
And it-
real
And
impressed
it
with
holds
what
a
it did.
ton
to
of
the
pellets, so
brisket.
the cook time on it's forever.
Yeah, it's like a 40-pound hopper. I was
Yeah.
super impressed by that.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
I
holds a
looked
lot.
in the hopper to see if I was like, oh, this is almost empty. Because it looked kind of far down in there. And then I looked around and I saw how much was
3/4 full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was mostly full.
So you put that brisket on at 3 o'clock?
3 o'clock one afternoon.
And you let it go. We checked on it. What time did you get up and check on it? 6 or 7 a.m.?
I checked on it before we went to bed.
Oh, yeah.
10-ish. Just
was
put my
more than
eyes
just
on it.
fine.
It's fine. And then, I woke up 7. I went out there and checked on it.
And it was about where you wanted it.
It was 168.
It was 170. That's where you want to wrap it, though.
Yeah.
And so you wrapped it up. You put in, you just basic seasoned it. Like you didn't inject it or anything like that.
No,
Didn't do much trimming on it.
Mm-mm. You helped me do a little trimming.
I didn't really trim anything. It took off a little oxidized meat off the edge.
The more I'm talking about this, the more I'm realizing I really didn't cook it by myself.
Well, I was trying to coach you, Chelle. I knew what you were doing the whole time. I wouldn't let you stray too far. But you did put it on, and you did check on it, and you did get it at 170, and you did wrap it in full. And then you put it back on. You had it probed the whole time, and that's the good thing about that griller grill. It's got 2 places for probes, so you just watch it the whole time. But I don't think it has Wi-Fi. I didn't even mess with that. But you took it off when it got because I went hunting.
It was 2:02.
I was hunting the whole time. Like I was hunting that morning, I was hunting that evening. I wasn't,
It was 202, and I probed it. In some spots, it was hitting 212. So
Yeah.
and it felt like butter. So
that was about what 10, 11.
yeah, it was around 10:30ish. I threw it in a Island Breeze cooler and let it
Champion brisket holder.
and let it hang out until about 6 o'clock that night. Pulled it out, sliced it. It was really, really good.
It was juicy.
It was very juicy, tender. The smoke ring on it was
Yep. Oh,
quarter inch or more.
I don't know if you'd have known it was cooked on a pellet grill.
Yeah, it had a really good flavor. And I know we cooked it low and slow and overnight and stuff, but
It was good. Hands down, that was a fine brisket flat. I'd let you do that anytime you want to. I still got a few pieces of it in the refrigerator I've been snacking on.
yeah. The little end piece. They did crumble on the edges.
But when you don't trim it, like comp trim it,
Yeah.
you're going to get that crumbly. So you got a choice. Either when you get ready to cut it, you can dock all that and just get smooth, even pieces, or you can trim it and let those pieces crumble out, and that's your burnt ends. I mean, that's burnt edges, basically. All that I love all that crumbly
Me
stuff.
too.
And you want to talk about like a
good.
good sandwich? You get that contrast texture where it's a little crunchy on the outside, but then you get the tender, fatty pieces of it.
It usually has the most flavor because it's gotten the most smoke and seasoning and stuff.
I don't mind it. That's kind of like Pitmaster snacks right there. That's what whoever's cutting it up gets to eat on those.
Yeah.
Keep that to the side. We can't sell that. We don't serve that. That's going in my pile.
Real quick, we are doing a giveaway in our community, our Let's Get to Cooking community
Where is this community?
on Facebook.
All right.
It's on Facebook.com/group/H2Q Community. If you go to the pinned post at the top, you guys, if you're listening to this on Friday, you have until Monday to enter this. If you go in the comments, we're just looking for great wing recipes. We want to see what y'all's go-to wing recipe for the game is. And pop George Strait on here. We're gonna
What
pick.
kind do you think George likes?
He looks like a honey habanero kind of guy.
Okay, I got you.
I was going to go TX brisket rub wing.
We're just trying to celebrate the Super Bowl, see all y'all's favorite go-to wing recipes. And so we're going to pick 10 random commenters on Monday, February the 5th at 8:59 a.m. Central Standard Time. And you're going to win a super wing bundle, which includes the AP rub, hot rub, barbecue sauce, vinegar sauce, spicy garlic pickles, and a burn 'em down hot sauce.
Man, you'd be ready for the Super Bowl.
That's what it is, Super Bowl pack.
Heck yeah. Can we say
And
Super
we're giving
Bowl
that
on here?
away to 10 people.
Yep.
Can we say
votes.
Super Bowl on here, Tyler? I guess we can.
No.
What are they going to do?
Yeah, come after us. Mute
Okay.
you. They're going to mute you. Take the volume off your videos like they've done on our TikToks.
One question. I thought this was a really good question from the community before we wrap up. There's a lot to prep this. Okay. Malcom has often indicated that prefers low and slow on big meats, but I want to get his thought on the recent success of these people cooking hot and fast in the competition world. He specifically pointed out like the Blues Hog cooking on drums.
Yeah.
But they do it on stick burners. Mark does it on stick
Heck yeah.
burners.
I mean, that's a thing. I think it's guys just want to get sleep. They don't want to stay up and cook all night anymore. So they kind of started doing that. And those, I don't know if they they didn't really invent the hot and fast because there's guys doing it, but they pretty much
Heck,
perfected
Myron's
it.
been doing it since.
He cooks hot and fast too. But yeah, they it works. It works. But I will say this about hot and fast. Most of the time, what you don't see or a lot of them don't tell you is they're cutting that meat way down too. They're taking a 20-pound brisket and cutting it down to, 5-6 pounds.
Yeah.
Just the flat. I'm talking, it'll be the size of this. I don't even know if y'all can see what I got here, but it's my notepad. That would just be the flat. It'd sit inside that. It's small.
And
they're cooking that and they're cooking it, in 4 or 5 hours. Now they are, they're cutting ribs down, 8, maybe 10 bones, but they're cooking those 3 hours. Chicken, we always cook chicken hot and fast. But in money muscles, they've got them down to just cooking money muscles or the butt. When they were cooking whole butts, they weren't really whole butts. They weren't 10-pound whole butts. They were trimming a lot of it down. So, when the meat gets smaller, yeah, you can cook it hot and faster. Is it as good? You get enough off of it for a contest to turn in some really good meat. But I guarantee you from end to end, that piece is not near as good if you cook it low and slow. There's no way. I've always.
I bet they would agree with you too.
Yeah, I'm sure they would. Yeah. Some pieces like chicken's fine. I'll cook hot chicken all the time. It does way better cooking it at higher temps than it does low and slow. But the bigger meat, the bigger cuts of meats, like your briskets, like your pork butts, even your ribs, the ribs are kind of, they're okay. They're $2.75 all day, any day. But those bigger pieces of meat, man, I love cooking them low and slow and letting them rest a long time, not hurrying.
But you're
them up.
usually taking that meat and then feeding a lot of people. You need the most maximum yield out of it.
You try to cook a 20-pound brisket, not trimmed up very much, cook it hot and fast. It will not turn out near as good as one that's been cooked slow and rested.
And they also are doing a lot to it. They're injecting it, they're wrapping it, they're saucing it.
Staying with it the whole time, flipping it, turning it, staying with it. Does it turn out good? Yeah. It wins contests, flat wins, but contests ain't I ain't cooked many of them lately, so I can't speak to it. But it's changed. It's changed a lot from what they're turning in now to what people used to cook barbecue. I ain't saying it's wrong or right or anything. Is it? That's kind of my take on it. You can definitely get it cooked like that. I wouldn't say it's better. But I like my sleep too, so I'd probably be cooking hot and fast.
Yeah, I was thinking to say, if you were out there competing, you'd be hot and fast.
I'd be hot and fast now.
We
used to put stuff on 7, 8 o'clock and stay up all night with it. But those days are over for most people. Most people don't do that anymore. They'll get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, fire the pits up and go to cooking and have it all come off and not have a rest time in it.
Someone was asking in the community about how to cook hog jowl, and I had to chime in and let them know.
How'd you tell
them? In the oven, like
yeah.
bacon, but it's going to take a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But some people had never even heard about hog jowl, and that's kind of I didn't know about hog jowl until I met you.
Do me a favor. Go to Burgers, Burgers. I don't know if it's burgers.com.
Burgers Smokehouse.
Burgers Smokehouse. And they have peppered hog jowl, and they have regular hog jowl. All their bacon's great too. And they don't. I buy from these people. They don't pay me anything.
We use them for Christmas presents.
Yeah,
we send out a lot of Christmas.
You get a 1 pound pack of sliced hog jowl, and you cook it like Chelle says in the oven on some aluminum foil. You can cover it with a little aluminum foil to get it started, and uncover it about halfway. Turn it to pieces where they get an even cook on both sides. It cooks in its own fat as it starts rendering down in the oven, and it is phenomenal.
Better than bacon. If you like bacon,
you'll love it.
You love
now there is some, like, you got to don't buy the wine with the rind on it, because everybody says, oh, that rind's so hard you can't eat it. Yeah, it's the rind. Why would you? I don't even know why you would buy that.
Because
it's just the way old people did
else.
it. Yeah, and they would throw it in season, because you can use it to season vegetables too. It's great for that. But this is fully smoked and cured, just like bacon, hog jowl. And when it's sliced, it looks very similar. The pieces are a lot wider and they're a little shorter. But it'll resemble bacon, because you're going to see that lean, you're going to see that fat line and all that. And it gets golden brown and super crispy and really good. Sometimes some brands I've had are saltier than others, just because, I guess, of the curing process, the way people do it. But that Burgers is as good. It's as good. It's probably better than what's the brand of bacon that I really like? Right, yeah. The hog jowl, the Burgers hog jowl is way better than rice bacon. And I love rice bacon.
Yeah, I agree.
It is fantastic.
I have had some hog jowl. Not that it was bad, but it was really salty, and the
Yeah.
rind kind of stinks. But you can just nibble around the rind if you get a good piece.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you just got to spit that rind out because it's hard. I will say this: I had some Conecuh bacon that Matt Victorinox brought me. Man, it was so good.
I didn't get to try that.
You didn't get to try the Conecuh?
Mm-mm. You're kind of picky about. I thought you weren't a Conecuh.
Their bacon's. I like some of their sausage. I mean, it's not as good as Country Pleasing, but they've got this sausage that's like a smaller link, and it's not as smoky, and it's really good. And then they had like a holiday blend that Matt bought, and it was dang good too. It wasn't too smoky.
I like the Conecuh
Yeah.
sausage.
I do too, but I mean, it'll overpower. Like you try to put it in a pot of crawfish, your whole pot of crawfish is
Yeah,
smoky.
yeah.
You can't do it. But just on its own, or you put it in a dish, it's going to get that dish smoky. But it's standalone, it's good. Makes a good sausage and cheese plate.
Yeah.
Is it better than Country Pleasing from Florence, Mississippi?
No.
Nope, nowhere close. But that's what I like. That's what's great about it. You can like what you like, and I can like what I like.
But try hog jowl if you haven't.
Yeah.
Well, Malcolm,
Would you put Blue Plate mayonnaise and make a BLT with hog? Oh, that might be a video.
that sounds delicious.
BLT video.
Hog jowl, because it's crispier than bacon. You know, you
Yeah.
get more of a crunch. Let's do
Let's do that.
Well, you got to have some good tomatoes. It
Yeah.
ain't tomato season yet.
Yeah.
We got a little ways to go on that.
Well, it's good to be back in the swing of things.
Good to be back.
Gonna knock the rust off.
That's all I have for you today.
We'll get the podcast in next week. Can we talk about Super Bowl? I had it on my list. That's all I wanted to talk about today.
I thought we'd talk about it next week.
Yeah, it'll be a perfect week too.
Yeah.
And then that next week we will be out, right?
No, we'll have one more week,
Okay. And then we'll be out
and then we'll be out the next week.
because it's Chelle's vacation. She lets me hunt. I take her to the islands. Can't beat that deal. It's the best of both worlds for me. It kind of sucks for you.
You get. I was going to say you get 4 months.
Yeah.
I get 1 week.
You need to have we need to let you vent about deer season. Do you absolutely just hate it?
I mean, at this point, I'm kind of used to living alone. I've kind of got a system and single parenting.
It's not much different than going out doing barbecue contest. gone every weekend.
My favorite thing from film week this week was you were like, "Hey, so you haven't really been around on Thursdays, but we do Lenny's on Thursday." I was like, "Dang."
That was a good low blow, Tyler.
I
You got me right in the guts with that one.
I
You
like
really
to
ran
get them
out.
in when I can.
You do. I just take them. I just take them lumps because I know I deserve it. I have been absent.
Take it out on those deer.
This weekend is the first weekend you do not have something planned since September.
Michael's got a dance Saturday night.
Yeah,
I
but
don't have it planned.
you're not traveling. You're going to be at home, and you were at home for Christmas weekend
That's it. Probably the only weekend I've been at the house.
since September.
Not since September.
When did dove season start?
I hadn't been there every single weekend like in October. We were so busy in October, I didn't even get to go to camp.
We did have to do some traveling in October. Yeah.
I would say since Thanksgiving. I probably haven't been home on a weekend.
All of November.
Not all of November.
Yes.
We went to State.
Oh, yeah, we did go. Okay.
I wasn't home, though. Well, folks, that's going to do it for this first episode before Chelle bites my head off. So, Tyler, tell them where they can find us.
Head on over to Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and I think MySpace. No, I'm just kidding. And make sure y'all head on over to the
We
Let's
used
Get to
to have
Cooking
one.
community and enter that Super Wing giveaway. And if you don't win this one, don't fret because we do giveaways all year long. So go there, hang
All
out.
right.
If you'd like to connect with Malcolm, it's HowToBBQRight on Facebook, Instagram. Y'all know. I'm Miss Southern Chelle on TikTok. Go look at my chili video.
All right. I'm going to go look at it, too. Well, for George Strait, Tyler, Chelle, and me, Malcolm Reed, we'll see y'all next week. We gone.